All right, if we go then to the next one, we're going 8 steps up. That's usually going to be a minor distance in more of the minor modes, so that's going to be the idea. So if I start on the Ionian, which is a major, then it's going to land me in the ocean. It's going to be going from I to X plus with a Mixolydian ocean, a 1 to a 5.5 modal range, which is going to be 8 notes away from the Ionian, 4.5 modal half steps, which would be 5.5 scale degrees if we had scale degrees, right? But it's going to be a minor 6. So we have the DA. So if I start on the Dorian, again, you would think it would be good because the Dorian's a minor mode, but this is where the minor mode differs from the main minor, the Aeolian. Still lands us in the ocean if I go 8 up from the Dorian, DA plus modal range in the Aeolian Ocean. So it'd be a 2 to a 6.5 modal range, meaning if I go 8 notes up from the Dorian, it's going to be 4.5 modal half steps, which would be a 5.5 scale degrees, or in essence, a sixth. It should be a 6, right? So a minor 6, right? So we have a PI. If I go from the Phrygian, which is a minor mode, it's as we would expect, landing us on a continent of Ionian. PI modal range, a 3-1 modal range, going 8 notes up from the Phrygian would be 5 modal half steps up, which would be a 6 scale degree, a minor 6. So if we go from the Lydian, it's a major mode. That's going to be a problem. So it's going to land us in the ocean, Ionian Ocean. It's going to be a YI plus modal range, a 4 to a 1.5 modal range, meaning we go 8 notes up from the Lydian, which would be 4.5 modal half steps, which you would think would be 5.5 scale degrees. It's actually a minor 6, right? So then if you go from the next one, the Mixolydian, it's going to be a problem because it's a major mode. So it lands us in the Dorian Ocean. It's an XD plus modal range, 5 to a 2.5 modal range. It's going to be 8 notes up from the Mixolydian, 4.5 modal half steps, which you would think would be 5.5 from a scale degree, or the 6th. So Aeolian lands us on a continent because it's a minor mode, and 8 or grape is a minor distance. So if we go, then that would be AY modal range, landing us on the Lydian node, 6-4 modal range, 8 notes up from the Aeolian, 5 modal half steps, which would be a 6th scale degree, or minor 6. Locrian is kind of like a minor, but it has a flat 5. So it got kicked out of the club, but it's still mainly minor. That would be an NX modal range, landing us on the Mixolydian node, 7-5 modal range. It's going to be 8 notes away from the Locrian node, 5 modal half steps, which would be 6 scale degree, minor 6. All right, what if I go 9 up? That's going to be fuchsia. So all of these are going to be fuchsia, and it's going to normally be a major distance is the norm. So starting from the Aeolian, or the Ionian, you'd expect to land on a continent, which you do. The Aeolian, an IA modal range, a 1-6 modal range, 9 notes away from the Ionian node, 5 modal half steps, which would be 6 scale degree, or a major 6. Dorian is a minor mode, which you would expect to land in the ocean, but this is where the Dorian is different once again from the main minor, the Aeolian. So it lands you on a continent, because we saw up above, it's actually, this one doesn't land, this one does land you on a continent. So it'd be a DN modal range, a 2-7 modal range, 9 notes away from the Dorian node, 5 modal half steps, which would be a 6 scale degree, a major 6th, even though it's in a minor mode. And then you have the Phrygian, which is a minor that conforms this time. So it lands you in the ocean, as you would expect, because this is a major distance applied to a minor starting point. That's a PI plus modal range, landing in the Ionian Ocean, 3 to a 1.5 modal range, 9 notes away from the Phrygian node, 5.5 modal half steps, which you would think would be 6.5 scale degrees. It's going to be a major 6. So now we have from the Lydian, which is a major mode, you'd think we'd be good here, which we are. It lands us in the Dorian Ocean if I go 9 up. So it'd be a YD modal range, Lydian to the Dorian, 4-2 modal range, 9 notes up from the Lydian would be 5 modal half steps up, 6 scale degree, which would be the major 6. The Mixolydian you'd think would be good, which we are because it's a major mode. XP modal range lands us on the Phrygian continent, 5-3 modal range, 9 notes away from the Mixolydian node would be 5 modal half steps up, the 6th scale degree, which would be a major 6. Aeolian, you'd think we wouldn't be good because this is a major distance applied to a minor mode, and that is the case here. Lands us in the Lydian Ocean. It's going to be an AY plus modal range, a 6 to a 4.5 modal range, 9 notes away from the Aeolian node, 5.5 modal half step, which you would think would be 6.5 on the scale degree. It's going to be a major 6. Locrian, kind of like a minor mode, so you'd think there'd be a problem, which there is, lands us in the Mixolydian Ocean. An N to an X plus modal range, 7 to 5.5 modal range, 9 notes away from the Locrian node, 5.5 modal half steps, which would be 6.5 scale degrees, or a major 6. Next, we're going to go then to the next one, which is fuchsia. I think, did I get the color right? The last one should have been orchid. It should have been orchid. And now we're on fuchsia. I hope I got the color right. I'm going to have to put a note in there. So all of these are going to be fuchsia. So fuchsia is 10 away, and that's a minor distance typically. So you would think from the Ionian it's going to be a problem. It is. It lands us in the Aeolian Ocean, an I to an A plus modal range, a 1 to a 6.5 modal range, 10 notes up from the Ionian, 5.5 modal half steps, which you would think would be 6.5 scale degrees. It's actually going to be a minor 7. So a D, Dorian, minor mode, you'd think we're good. We are. So that's going to be a DI modal range, lands us on the Ionian Ocean or the Ionian continent. It's going to be a D1 modal range, 10 notes away from the Dorian, 6 modal half steps, 7 scale degrees, you would think then, which would be a minor 7. If you start on the Phrygian, we're good because 10 is a minor mode, lands you on the Dorian continent. Be a PD modal range of 3-2 modal range, 10 notes away from the Phrygian node, 6 modal half steps, which would be 7 scale degree or minor 7. If you start on a Lydian, problem, because Lydian's a major mode, lands you in the Dorian Ocean, a Y D plus modal range, 4 to a 2.5 modal range. It's going to be 10 notes away from the Lydian node, 5.5 modal half steps, which you would think would be 6.5 from a scale degree standpoint, which is really going to be a minor 7, right? I'm good. Minor 7. And now we're on the mixed Lydian, which is a minor mode. So no, it's not a minor mode. It's a major mode, but we're still good because it's the bluesy mode. So it's cool with this interval, even though it's a minor interval, which is going to be an XY modal range, landing us in the Lydian continent, a 5-4 modal range, 10 notes away from the mixed Lydian node, 6 modal half steps, which would be 7 scale degree, which would be a minor 7. Aeolian minor mode, so we should be good here, which we are. Lands us on the Mixolydian continent. AX modal range, a 6-5 modal range, 10 notes away from the Aeolian node, 6 modal half steps, which would be 7 scale degree or minor 7. Locrian, also kind of minorish, so you think we're good. We are good. It's going to land you on the Aeolian. It's going to be an NA modal range, a 7-6 modal range, 10 notes away from the Locrian node, 6 modal half steps, which would be 7 scale degrees or minor 7. And then finally, we go to the 11 distance, which is going to be punch. So, and that's going to be a major distance typically. So from the Ionian, you'd think we'd be good, which we are. Land you on the Locrian, IN modal range, 1-7 modal range, 11 notes away from the Ionian node, 6 modal half steps, which would be 7 scale degrees or major 7. Dorian, minor mode, you'd think we'd not good, which we aren't, because it lands you in the Ionian Ocean. D to the I plus modal range, 2 to 1.5 modal range, 11 notes away from the Dorian node, 6.5 modal half steps, which you would think would be 7.5 scale degrees. It's in essence a major 7. If you're on the Phrygian, again, problem, minor mode, major distance. So it lands you in the Dorian Ocean. So it's going to be a P to a D plus modal range, 3 to a 2.5 modal range, 11 notes away from the Phrygian node, 6.5 modal half steps, which you would think would be 7.5 scale degrees. Which is actually a major 7. So Lydian is going to be a major mode. So you think we're good. We are good. It's going to land you on the Phrygian continent. It's going to be a YP modal range, a 4-3 modal range, 11 notes away from the Lydian node, 6 modal half steps, which would be 7 scale degree or major 7. If you're on the Mixolydian, you'd think you'd be good because it's a major mode, but we're not because it's bluesy. So it has a minor distance here. So that lands you in the Lydian Ocean. That's going to be an XY plus modal range, a 5 to a 4.5 modal range, 11 notes away from the Mixolydian node, 6.5 modal half steps, 7.5 from a scale degree standpoint, or major 7. So what if we have the Aeolian? That's a minor mode. It's going to cause us a problem because it's a major distance. It is. It's going to land us in the Mixolydian Ocean, an AX plus modal range, 6 to a 5.5, 11 notes away from the Aeolian node, 6.5 modal half steps, 7.5 scale degrees is what you would think. It's going to be a major 7. Locrian, also a problem because it's kind of like a minor mode. It is a problem, lands us in the Aeolian Ocean. In A plus modal range, 7 to a 6.5 modal range, 11 notes away from the Locrian node, 6.5 modal half steps, which would be 7.5 scale degrees, which would be a major 7. Okay, that's the heart of it, which again, we can use those distances for no matter what as permanent distances, or what you might call local distances, as though you're going around the track.